Hello and welcome. I am Sue Markgraf. I'm founder and president of GreenMark Media. For more than 30 years, I have worked with business owners, directors, managers, and their staffs at diverse horticulture and agriculture companies. My experience in branding and strategic marketing includes working with growers, plant nurseries, independent garden centers, and landscape companies, to name a few. My role has always been to develop and implement strategic communications that support the growth of sustainable brands. Because every horticulture business is unique, marketing its work requires customization. Understanding the right way to market industry businesses begins with understanding how to use the right tool for the right purpose. The tools my fellow marketing professionals and I use to talk about our industry's brands are simply that, tools. Influencer communications, social media, public relations, public affairs, communications marketing, media relations, paid advertising, events, programs, and the like are tools in our garden sheds that fall under one very important marketing umbrella: strategic storytelling for business. You're in the last session of the day and right before dinner, so I'm going to conjure up some food for thought. I hope you will enjoy the magic of strategic storytelling. And for those who are just joining, I am Sue Markgraf, GreenMark Media. We are a communications firm that exclusively represents green businesses in all the links in the chain of our industry. But first, just a little bit about why I was asked to speak today, and it's an honor to do so, and I thank Carlin for the opportunity. Throughout my career, I've spent a great deal of time among our industry's green businesses, providing services ranging from message development and branding to reputation management and strategic storytelling. In addition to this experience, along with years as a working journalist in Chicago, my parents were retail grocery entrepreneurs, and I grew up in a rural agriculture and horticulture community. So I have an inherent understanding of plants and the unique challenges and opportunities within our industry. In 2006, I left my full-time career at the Chicago Botanic Garden, where with my team, we built a public destination brand from nearly non-existent awareness to thriving nationally in 5 short years. Who's heard of the Chicago Botanic Garden? Yeah. We did it using elements of strategic storytelling. While I was at CBG, I began also connecting with other similar plant-based organizations throughout Chicago to coordinate messaging and public awareness in a collaborative and competitive way. And that would have been with Peggy Notebart Nature Center. It would have been with Morton Arboretum, etc. This approach respected the works and the goals of each organization while building collaboration and visibility that supported green destinations throughout the Chicago area. I left the Chicago Botanic Garden because I believed that if I could do for other green businesses, what I did for CBG, the industry would benefit. So GreenMark was born. My goal was and is to support the industry at large. I sort of consider myself an unofficial ambassador for the green industry. In addition to my background at CBG, GreenMark's extended client family includes branding, strategic messaging, and marketing communications that launched probably one of the highlights of my career, the Lurie Garden in Millennium Park, as well as the Chicago Flower and Garden Show and Chalet Home and Garden, among others. Our current client family includes a residential and commercial landscape firm, a Midwest grower and nursery, an apple orchard and vegetable market, an award-winning water feature design build company. But you came here today to find out what strategic storytelling for business is and why it is absolutely critical to yours. Strategic storytelling is the artist's palette on which your brand stories are blended and created through messaging and creativity. Its colors are the topics, and its supplies are the tools I mentioned earlier. You employ these tools to speak life to your company's vision, mission, and values. Let me pull back the curtain a bit to show you how it's done. To do that, we're going to start at the beginning. From the earliest days, storytelling has been used to share information. Our ancestors used it to spotlight trade routes, food, travel, trees and plants, fine arts, the weather, and even honey gathering. Our earliest ancestors used carvings or visuals to help tell their stories. Does this remind you of anything? Maybe our modern day memes? Facebook and Instagram rely heavily on photos and videos to deliver information. During the second quarter of 2023, analysts tell us that Facebook, which, as you know, predominantly uses photos and videos, had roughly 3 billion monthly active users on the social media outlet. Some of them found their way to you, right? Scientists say our brains are wired to see information as pictures. Neurons devoted to visual processing number in the hundreds of millions and take up 30% of our cortex. Pictures really are worth 1,000 words, and they are a vital tool in strategic storytelling for business. Here's another of our modern day cave drawings. Merriam-Webster defines communication as a technique for expressing ideas effectively and as a process by which information is exchanged between individuals through a common system of symbols, signs, and behaviors. As much as things change, while they may look a little different, they also stay the same. The technique of storytelling is, after all, magic because it's timeless. Today, we don't have to find a cave wall to deliver our messages. We have a cornucopia of communications choices. A lot. They are general and specialized outlets that target everything from business, food, travel, trees and plants, to fine arts, the weather, and even honey gathering. In addition to this icon party, there is local television, cable news, satellite radio, trade and consumer magazines, both digital and print, blogs, vlogs, e-newsletters, all kinds of advertising and more. With all these choices, our communication space is overwhelmed and it's terribly cluttered. Bottom line, if you aren't already, you simply must be doing some kind of strategic storytelling for your business, or suffer getting lost in a sea of ho-hum sameness. So just how on earth is a respectable green business supposed to be heard these days? Well, I would advise not doing this. We've all seen it, haven't we? Including that business that doesn't use the right social media outlet for the appropriate message and continually repeats the same message until you tune it out. If you are going to blatantly shout sales and promotions, or call us today, or worse yet, order now on social media, there is one thing you can be certain of: you won't be heard. Your analytics will be nearly non-existent. I know, I've done it. I've done the exercise. I've done the test. Prospective customers will be lost because they will scroll right on by, irritated with you, and your posts will almost certainly be unnoticed. Meta, LinkedIn, and the like make money through boosted posts and ad placements. Shouting like this is akin to advertising. If you use directive words without an ad buy, you will likely be reported and your brand business page could be suspended. Conversely, staying quiet and being non-existent on social media isn't advisable either. If you're a business, if you don't have a presence because you don't want to be social or be bothered, or you believe your clients aren't there, I certainly understand, and that's fine, but don't expect to be top of mind either. Because among those 3 billion monthly active users on Facebook, one or likely more of them could be your customers. Simply understand that Facebook is Facebook, Instagram is Instagram, YouTube is YouTube, meaning they all have different approaches and styles and are designed for different types of messaging. Question: who among you can name, maybe shout out, go ahead and shout, one company that's doing social media right, that you follow, that you see in our industry? Sid's Greenhouse. Ted's Greenhouse. Anybody else? Go ahead, name your own. There you go. I'm going to add one. Midwest Ground Covers. They rock it on social media. If you haven't seen some of these fun videos that they produce, check them out. They're hysterically funny. They don't really blatantly, they don't sell plants, but they sell their people. They sell the personality behind the plants. And that's what's so compelling. In 1964, there was a Canadian educator and theorist, Marshall McLuhan. Who's heard of him? He coined the phrase, the medium is the message. His belief was that electronic communications like radio and television, film and computers in 1964 would have far-reaching sociological, aesthetic, and philosophical consequences to the point of altering, he said, the way we experience the world in 1964. He died on New Year's Eve in 1980, so he didn't live long enough to see just how right he was. With respect, though, I'm going to stretch his statement further, adding that strategic storytelling delivers the right message using the right tools through the right medium. That's my grandson, by the way. Telling your business story strategically begins by identifying and clearly stating its brand values and its promise to your clients and customers. This is done by believing in your company's vision and mission, and then translating that belief through its activities and programs, which inform its key messages. Those are brought out through strategic storytelling, because unanimous buy-in about your brand messaging at all levels of your business is imperative to walking the talk. All staff with a stake in its brand communications must be involved in message development for your company. This ensures confidence at every level of the business and effectiveness of the brand's internal and external communications. In my experience, the CEO of a company and the customer service experience rep or the person answering the phones are often on very different pages about the brand's core messaging and its purpose in the marketplace. A brand is not what the C-suite says it is. A brand is what the people at every level of the business believe it to be. Every employee is an ambassador of the company's brand. That is why unanimous buy-in about who you are as a business is extremely important. Let's break it down. By the way, I see some people taking notes. I'm happy to just share this presentation with you if you want to email me for it. As business leaders, we tend to think a lot with our heads, right? But as many of us know, heart, passion, and empathy are an important part of the leadership mix. A couple years ago, Forbes published an article stating that practicing empathy and developing an empathy-driven work atmosphere can create a high productivity culture, which a business will need to thrive in a post-pandemic era. Indeed, your brand strategic story embodies its true colors. A brand is not a logo. It is the character of the company. It's the emotional and psychological relationship that your customers, partners, and target audiences have with your service, product, or business. Your brand strategic story centers on your brand promise, and that means delivering on what you say you're going to do every day, all the time. A brand's promise is its integrity. It is the experience customers can expect to have every time they interact with your business. A brand's promise is consistent and it has heart. Although it may sound good in an ad campaign or on a billboard, your brand's vision is not a slogan. It's not a tagline. It's the passion or intention that your company has for its future, based on its brand promise. This is what drives you to get up and slap that alarm every morning to go to work. Following your brand's vision is your company's mission, which is the purpose or reason for being in the marketplace. Next are your core messages, which generally fall very nicely, actually, under umbrellas like production or education or service. Core messages are catalysts for delivering on your company's brand promise. All these messages should be brainstormed, unanimously endorsed among all levels of your staff, stated and written down for the purpose of transparency. Understand they are not simply pieces of paper to hang around the break room and bathrooms and forget about. They are actionable devices that drive your business through strategic planning, keeping everyone on the same page with regards to what is honest and true about your business. And they create intention for moving confidence in the marketplace and for moving with confidence into the marketplace and into the future. I've seen companies actually have these statements with them as they are doing their strategic planning for the year, and that's the way that it should be. For example, this grower put their brand messaging on their website. A lot of companies are doing that now. They rely on their unanimously agreed upon messages for transparency and consistency in all of their brand transactions. Their brand presence is consistent and clear across all internal and external communications challenges. Every single thing that this grower does is based on their messaging. All of their communications through sales, through marketing, just general on the street, through their participation in industry organizations and conferences like this, all drive back right to those core messages. If you want to look at their page, it's Loma Vista Nursery. They're in Kansas. Your brand's messages are the foundation of its strategic communications and the springboard for its strategic storytelling. Here's some important questions to ask yourself and your team right up here. Who are the demographics of your brand's audience? Who do you speak with? What do you want this audience to feel about your brand? What do you want it to remember about your brand? Is your messaging active, simple, straightforward, and clear? Are they comfortable for you to say? Even though you'd go through the exercise as a team and construct your messaging, you also have to say the same message in your words so that it's comfortable for you to say. And most of all, do you believe them? If you don't believe those messages, don't say that you unanimously agree. Everyone must agree on what those message sets are. Think about your answers to these questions too. What are your brand's short and long-term goals? Where do you want to be in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? What is the experience customers have in working with your business? When I was at CBG, we underwent this humongous capital campaign. Our way of trying to figure out what our visitors were saying was so scientific, I couldn't believe it. My boss and I stood on the entryway bridge for a whole weekend, Saturday and Sunday, and wrote down everything that people said when they came in. And it was almost every single person said the same thing. Oh, wow. And that became the vision for our capital campaign, was to build on, oh, wow. What does your brand excel at? Is it quality plants, service, something, or selling, or is it something else? Why is your business important in your community, and what would happen to your community if your business wasn't there? What would they lose? How would you describe your brand's personality? Is it sophisticated and glam? Is it fun and quirky? Is it country garden? What is your brand's personality? Look to the people who work for you to help define that. What is your team's unique skill set? Who are your brand's internal cheerleaders? How do your sales activities or programs reflect the brand? You know, even your employees who have personal skill sets that you may be like, that's great, that's wonderful, could help you in your business. If you have an employee who does community theater on the weekends, wow, that's somebody I want to put in front of a camera to help me sell my business. If you have somebody who loves photography and goes and takes classes and does all this kind of stuff, buy them a camera and have them shoot photos for you in your business, and then put them in charge of social media so you don't have to do it. Once you've got your messaging down, list all the channels you may already be using to talk about your brand's work. And this can help identify what you're doing right and what you could be doing better on some of these platforms, particularly with social media. Note the different formats, their content, and the personalities of each. If paid advertising is a route for you, list that too. I think we all know that Facebook has been taken over by the boomers, and the younger generations beneath us are coming up behind us are not there because we are. So where are the Gen Xers, and the millennials, and the new, I think, alphas coming up? Where are they? I'll tell you, because I have two of them. They're on YouTube. My 5-year-old grandson watches YouTube. And my adult children watch YouTube. That's where they've gone. I see some younger in that. Where are you at? Where do you get your social media? YouTube.
It's really funny though.
YouTube is videos, right? Short, long, everything in between. And that's wonderful because on Facebook, you're so limited now on the length of your videos in some cases, on your stories and things. Where are you getting your social media from? Facebook? Are you a Gen X, millennial? You're a millennial. Millennial? Millennial. Yeah. And then there's Instagram, which, everybody thinks it's beauty photos. It's beauty photos and a lot more. It's inspiration is what it is on Instagram. So look at each platform objectively. I have people who tell me I never want to be on Facebook again in my life. But look at it objectively and see what the commonality thread is there. So here are some media that you might consider. Digital and traditional media. I like that word traditional because that was untraditional when I first started my career. It includes national and local consumer and trade magazines. Midwest Living is a regional magazine. Some of you might want to consider pitching your business if it's a destination for out-of-town travelers to Midwest Living. Read these publications as well. Newspapers, they're still alive and well. We just read them online, but they're still alive and well. Talk radio and television news. And if you tell me that nobody's watching the news anymore, no, that is absolutely not true. I have seen over and over again, and with my own clients over and over again, that when they are in Chicago on WGN, midday news, or on ABC7 in the morning in Chicago, without doubt, without fail, their phone rings when they go back to the office, or they run out of the merchandise at the garden center. People are still watching, and I have the numbers that prove that out as well. That when you do an earned media segment on a midday news in your market, that value is what we call earned media, and that value is the price that you would pay if you bought an ad. But I'm sure you've seen on some of your local news that you've got your local beautician coming in for New Year's Eve to show people how to do their hair. Those are earned media spots. That's spots you get just by the very nature of you being an expert at what you do. And you can pitch those to producers. We also have, as we said, social media. And social media isn't just Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. It's also Pinterest, Houzz, and YouTube. Any landscape companies here? If Houzz is for you, that is prime space for you to be. Pinterest, inspiration, motivation. I would recommend a business page have a Pinterest account. We sell pretty things. So let the pretty things speak for themselves and sell the inspiration behind them and the benefits. Email marketing, MailChimp, Constant Contact. How many of you use those? Yep, a lot of us. HubSpot, those are a few. Now, many companies, like my landscape client, their company has an internal Teams. It's not Teams, it's something else, but Marketing Pro is what it's called. And they don't need to subscribe to these because they have it as part of their internal system for building your email marketing campaigns. And then your website, which is blogs. How many have a blog? Good. A vlog. I want to see our industry really get into vlogs, VLOG, video blogs. Fact sheets on your website, DIY tips, if you sell vegetables, recipes, or herbs, drinks, mixology drinks, e-commerce. How many have an e-commerce platform on their website? Okay. And then there's grassroots, which, in my humble opinion, is the most important of all. Those include our influencers. Influencers aren't journalists. Influencers just have a lot of people following them because they're expert at what they do. And there's so many in our industry right now. Consider following Here She Grows. She is my favorite influencer right now, Heather Blackmore. She is self-taught basically, and she knows her stuff about plants and what to do with them. And she's inspiring people. There's a number of others as well. Another one of my favorites is Kiss My Aster, who was so popular on her as an influencer, she opened a garden center. It's in Lamont, Illinois. So we also have garden clubs, right? Huge opportunities for us as an industry on the grassroots level. And then our community newsletters. I don't know about you, but in my county in Illinois, I have 2 county officials who are very involved in our community garden, and they post about it all the time. And then when I send something in that I would like them to share, they post because they have an affinity to what we do as an industry. And then there's our extension services, which we can't forget them either, and the vital role that they play. Our fairs, our fair associations, our 4-H's. These are all important grassroots communications for you. And some of these, like the 4-H's, get them involved, get the Girl Scouts involved in your business. That's another way to draw in not only a new customer, but to show your support for community. I'm getting way behind on my slides. Strategic stories are woven with threads, like a fine quilt. Whether it's through a social media post, a website blog, a YouTube video, or a television broadcast segment, story threads weave together the spirit of your brand's messaging to tell its diverse stories. At their core, green businesses offer people diverse and memorable experiences. How many times have we seen like generations come through some of our garden centers and our businesses? Because it's tradition. I believe the cornerstone of our industry is education. It's the best thing we've got going for us. Because education inspires a can-do spirit. Every link in the chain of our industry is inspiring. Every single one. Every brand, product, and service that we produce is an opportunity to talk about the benefits of plants. If you are a member of American Hort, you may be familiar with their chief economist, Charlie Hall. His mantra is sell those benefits. And guess what? It's not just health benefits anymore. It's also the benefits of being together as a family, the benefits towards the environment. It's a lot of benefits in that little plant. The people who work for you are your brand stars. They're your ambassadors. And every one of them has a motivational story about plants based on their personal experience. I was just to cultivate for 2 days. I videoed for an industry organization, 22 people about why they got into our industry. And it was unanimous. It wasn't because they needed a job. It wasn't because they, thought it would be fun. It was because somebody in their life inspired them to go and garden. Those are really wonderful stories that can help you in your business as well. In your vlogs, in your blogs, profile your people and how they got involved and how they got interested in the industry. And when those customers, whether they're B2B or B2C, come to see you, they're going to want to meet that person. And that is a brand asset for you right there. These are all story threads. And if you do know me, you know my mantra is plant education. Educating people about the benefits of plants is, as I said, the best foundation thread we have for telling all of our stories, no matter where we are in the chain. Utilizing these threads, creativity makes strategic storytelling impactful and enables a brand to stand out from the crowd, because messaging is then relevant and brand stories reach customers where they are. So who tells your brand story? Your internal stars are staff and team members who embody the company's brand promise. Now, I had somebody, when I said that at another presentation, raise their hand and say, I don't want my people in front of the camera. I don't know what they're going to say. Were you listening to the past 20 minutes when I was talking about message development and you do it unanimously? You're not going to send out loose cannons, but you are going to train them and you are going to listen to what they say, because 9 times out of 10, the people who are answering the phone and working with your customer know your message is better than you do as the owner of the company. They know its products and services backwards, forwards, and upside down. And they talk about them all the time. When I was with Chalet, anybody heard of Chalet? They're a garden center landscape company in Wilmette, Illinois. There was a woman there. Her name was Jennifer Brennan. Oh my God, you could not get her to not smile. You could tell her it's going to rain and she'd be like, isn't that great? When you have an event. But you know what? We put her on television. Everyone wanted to come in and meet Jennifer. They wanted her advice. They wanted her counsel. And all these years later, she's still there. I don't know how many years she's worked there now, but she's still there. These are the people who excel at customer service, and clients do seek them out because they have that positive mental attitude. They have empathy. Oh, you're plant-eyed. Here's what you can do next time. And they have a can-do spirit. You can do this. I once said, I can't grow an orchid to save my life. She said, oh, yes, you can. And then she showed me how. And now I have orchids. They have that can-do spirit. They have strong horticulture knowledge and a skill set that inspires others, but they're not know-it-alls. If they don't know, they're not afraid to say, hey, Joe, what do you think? Or I'm going to call you and I'll get back to you, or I'll shoot you an email. These are your brand ambassadors, and they are so important in your business. They're the team members you train on your messaging and put front and center in public communications. I know so many CEOs and presidents of companies and top leadership in the management of the companies who don't want to do any public speaking or be a part of any of that. Well, then who's going to do it for you? You have brand ambassadors. People want to know your brand by your people, not by your company logo. I've seen it repeatedly. Team member stars or ambassadors make a huge difference along the path of company growth. It's called putting a face or faces on the brand. And I also had somebody say, but if I put that person, if I put Jennifer in front of everybody, I won't have her long. Not true. Because in giving her that authority, you've just elevated her morale, and she wants to do it for you. A few tips. Weaving strategic stories well is an art. It's not a science, and it will take time. Sometimes it takes 2 to 3 years to crank that engine up. But once it gets going, it's a steaming train. It is a sound investment in a brand that you work so very hard for every single day. I once had a landscape person that I was going to, when I was doing the Chicago Flower and Garden Show, I wanted to put her on camera. She left her jacket in the car, which, if you know Navy Pier, is a hike from Festival Hall to the parking lot. And I looked at her and said, go get your jacket. Well, I don't have time. Yes, you do. You're fine. Run. She said, I don't want to wear my jacket. I said, don't you care about the brand you started? Well, yeah. Okay, I'll be right back. It's that. But done well, its consistent results deliver like magic. Strategic storytelling, I've been doing it almost 20 years at GreenMark and 40 years total in my career. As a journalist and as a communications professional, I've never seen it fail. It works every time. Here are a few tips to help you get started on your way. If you can't hire a full or part-time marketing professional, and by the way, my talk tomorrow, marketing isn't selling. Your marketing professional is not your salesperson. Just saying. Look for ways to expand a team member's position. Provide them with necessary training. Send them to junior college for just the basics. Use brand messaging as springboards to create story threads you'll use in your public communications. Determine which communications outlets are most appropriate for the strategic story you're telling. And make friends with those journalists. Invite them to come and shop. Make them pay for it. but invite them to come and shop. Show them new products you have. Say, hey, you know what? I've got some new products in. Just thinking you might be interested. I know you've got some garden stuff coming up in spring. They're all working on spring, by the way, right now. Invest in photography and videography. Assign a company camera to a team member, as I said before, who has an interest in photography. I can hear your thoughts now. It's going to cost me money. Yeah. But remember all those billions monthly on Facebook? Yeah, it's going to cost you money, but it's an investment in your brand. Read your digital newspaper, your consumer and trade publications. Read them, please. I write for one of them, Nursery Management. I write a quarterly column. Please read us. Watch and listen to local radio and television news broadcasts. Study what they cover. Get to know your area influencers as well as your journalists. They're looking for content. They're looking to work with people who know what they're talking about and with brands in the industry that they can partner with. A lot of these influencers, all they want is a plant to put in their garden. But if you work with them, that expands your reach because you're now part of their reach. Encourage your company stars to take initiative in representing your brand. Using strategic storytelling, today's business communicators have a plethora of options for sharing the brand's unique messaging and for sharing strategically in a way that rises above the noise, because you can do that. It is possible. By the way, here's legitimate cave drawing, how our ancestors told stories about their honey gathering business. Isn't that fun? Today, here's how we do it. Not much has changed. Not much has changed at all. So here's my email address. If you'd like a copy of my presentation, I am happy to send it to you. I appreciate your time and attention.